Hi students, by now you have already brainstormed your topics. We've already worked on the brainstorming. You have actually chosen your topic. Make sure that you're signed in. You'll find out that you signed into Edline if your name appears here on this gray bar. And you'll click on Fall 2017 Crucible Analytical Paper Topics. When you open that, you're going to notice that you get to choose a topic. For demonstration purposes today, we're going to choose topic 6. So what we do is we remove all the other topics and we keep only topic 6. What I recommend you do now is take away where it says topics, make sure that it reads outline. And yes, it's going to be in a large font, and that's okay for now because this is just an outline. So you have topic 6. Then you're going to start your outline right here. I'm actually going to insert a page break because I want it on the next page, like that. I have my topic here, and I have my outline here in about 2 pages, and that's how I would like to keep it. So you have your introductory paragraph. Here you're going to give me a bit of information, a universal idea, an analogy, etc. And I'm going to show you what one of my students already did. So one of my students decided to write a quote from Batman. It says, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain." And that is what his focus is going to be. Now make sure that everything is in Times New Roman 12-inch font and that it's actually in black. Okay, what you can do is Control A, you choose Times New Roman for everything, and you choose 12-inch font because that's the size that you want it. That's the size that we're going to have to keep it as well. So there it is. So now you have a creative opening. The creative opening is going to be that you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Of course, we are going to give some credit where credit is due. So you have to tell me who said it. You know, you either say so-and-so said, you either say it at the beginning, you say Batman in such and such movie said, or you find out the director who gave him that line. So in the movie, and you tell me what movie it came out, Batman, the main character claims you either die a hero or you live long enough, to see yourself become the villain. So you either do it that way, or right here in parentheses, you're going to have to tell me without that period. The period always goes after the parentheses. So tell me who is it that came up with it, right? So exactly who is the movie director, perhaps. So you have to tell me, is it Goyer? David Goyer, because supposedly that's who it's attributed to. Christopher Nolan or one of his brothers were the script writers for this movie Dark Knight. So here you would probably put maybe one of them, which is David Goyer, and then you put a period. So here, if you see this, it turned gray again. So what do we need to do? We need to press Control A, and we need to again change it to Times New Roman. Make sure that it's 12-inch font. Okay, and you want black. So if what happens is all of it turns black. So if you just want this section to turn black, then of course you just press black right here. And that's what you do with that creative opening. Then you have a historical background. Everybody's asking me, what do I do with that historical background? Well, you have to give me some history. If you're telling me then you want to compare maybe John Proctor as a hero, as a villain, then discuss in this section, you want to discuss villains versus heroes. Think about history. Where have we seen heroes, villains, and who is infamous or famous now? That's what you discuss there. So it's really up to you and up to your topic as to what it is that you're going to discuss for the background. It's pretty much a bridge. I want you to see it as a bridge. You have your creative opening, then you're going to discuss a little bit about your topic, and then you have your thesis. So it links these two together so we can have a very nice clear-cut introduction. Your thesis is going to be your topic. Well, what is your topic? Let's look at the topic. Here it says, do you think that Proctor's last act was an act of excessive pride or honor? So that's what you're going to have to be analyzing. Is it honor, or what is it actually? So you need to decide what it is, and that's how you'll end up writing your thesis right here. So you need to write, John Proctor's last act was an act of pride, or it was an act of honor. And you have to tell me why. You have to tell me the because factor. So if you say John Proctor's last act was an act of pride because, why do you see it as pride? So you fill in the blank and you tell me there are your 2 reasons as to why it is seen as pride. And that would be your thesis statement. You move on to body paragraph 1. Now you have a topic sentence. You need to give me your first idea that supports a thesis. Where do you get your first idea from? Well, the first idea that you wrote up here. Will you tell me it is because, well, what's the reason? So I'm going to show you one that somebody has shared with me, one of my students, and he said, Proctor's last act was an act of honor because he had self-respect, particularly for his name. So this is his first idea right here. So that first idea, that's going to be what he's going to discuss throughout this paragraph. The second thing that I'm asking you to do, I tell you to give me a concrete detail. Give me an observation. Think about the character. What are the words, the thoughts, the actions? And you will put it here. So now it says, John would rather die than give up his name. He refused to give them the joy of his name. Well, what does that mean? Okay, of course, this is a run-on. We're going to have to fix that. So why does he refuse it? What is it that John did? Why did John Proctor act that way? Then you have, if you look at it, look at the format, primary quote. Your primary quote is, what source did you get it from? You got it from the Crucible. You got it from that orange book that we used. Then you give me a quote that supports. You have, how may I live without my name? I have given you my soul. Leave me my name. Now, who said that? What page was it on? I don't know. So you have to tell me where it is. And the author that put all these works together, her last name is Allen. And you would have to give me a page number. So let's say that this is on page 211. We would have to put that it's on page 211 because that is a reference point. Here you have a period. You do not have a period inside the quotes. A period goes after the parentheses. So make sure that you follow format as you're writing as well. After you are done with that primary quote, I ask you to give me some commentary. Explain the detail, the quote. This is not redundancy. You have to elaborate. What this student decided to do, and I thought that it was pretty brilliant, is that you tell me a comparison. Give me a global perspective. Compare John Proctor to somebody who you have seen. This person decided to compare him to Davy Crockett. He was a 19th century American folk hero, and he tells us why. He needs to elaborate a little bit. Well, throughout history, people have chosen to die with honor, but why do people die with honor? What is the main reason that people die with honor? So that's where you have to give me your quotes from. The second one is you have to find a quote from EBSCO. And we've searched through EBSCO before. I also have a screencast for that, an instructional video where you actually search an article that's going to support this. So give me a quote from an article where you can input it here. So here, this is not your secondary quote because this is from the book. So we cannot include this. So we need a quote from EBSCO. And how do we do that? Let's go and search. Here you have to type in Panther Library, and we've done this before. You click here on Panther Library Media Center. Click on more Panther links. And then you go to TextShare LPL. And don't forget that username and password. Click on all EBSCO databases. EBSCO hosts all databases. Select Continue. Now here we need to type in search terms. We click on full text and you're probably remembering, oh, I did this before. Yes, we actually did. Now do not expect to find John Proctor and Pride and somebody writing an article on that. You may type in simply the Crucible. And what about the Crucible? You have the Crucible in McCarthyism, the Crucible John Proctor, Abigail Williams, the Red Scare, literary criticism, characters, McCarthyism. You're the one that's going to choose. Yes, you have to read, you have to search, because that's what we do. So you're going to have to click Salem Witch Trials, the history behind the characters. Let's click on that one and let's see if we like it. Click on PDF full text. And all of this, that's why I kind of strayed a little bit, is so we can come back and we can add a secondary quote. So you know where to get it from step by step. Let's see John Proctor. Let's see if we can get anything good from here as a secondary quote. It tells you John Proctor, unlike Miller's Proctor, the real John Proctor was in his 60s when the trials occurred. However, he was one of the most vocal opponents of the trial. He did defend his wife's innocence. Proctor stated that he did not believe there was such a thing as witchcraft. And this, as much in anything else, was what led his being accused. Proctor maintained his innocence. He believed the devil had misled the court in the town he was hanged. He wrote a letter to the court from his cell wherein he maintained, by reason we know in our own consciences we are innocent persons. So that sounds like a workable quote. We could probably use that. So here you could borrow this, and we can borrow it and we can use it. So we can copy it. It's all about how you manipulate your quotes. So let's see if we can use it here. So instead of that being our secondary quote, we want to paste this and make that one our secondary quote. So here you would put it in quotes. He believed. And who is he? Well, it would be John Proctor. You can add in fact. Remember those transitions. We need to use those transitions. In fact, John Proctor. Okay, and we have to be writing in the present tense. Okay, so John Proctor believes. So how do we manipulate this? Is we actually take this off. So we remove believed. We don't need it. We can add our own word. So in fact, John Proctor believes the devil had misled the court and his town. He was hanged, and that is historical, right? So where do we get it from? So we get it from here, from MLA. So this one has, typically you're supposed to put all of this information into parentheses. However, it is a little lengthy, so I'm just going to use the Salem, and I'm going to put that right next to my textual evidence, which is right here. Let me go. There you go. So here I would put it the Salem. Yes, I know it's green. You can fix that. You can just take it off. Normal text, and instead of the highlight you put none, and it'll remove it. Okay, as you can see, it's different. Remember, at the very end you press Control A, you put everything in Times New Roman, and you put everything in 12-inch font, so like that nothing messes up. So you have the Salem, and what page number was it? Well, you're gonna have to check. And it's only really one page, and it'll tell you here what page it is. You have the literary cavalcade, and it's T5. So you actually have to put T5 here because that's the page number that it's at. So because we cut off part of the title, we're going to put an ellipsis, and we're going to put T5 because that's the page number it has, and then period. So that is exactly what it is that you're going to do. Don't forget the quote, sorry. So you have to put the quotes here as well. Now, then letter F, what does it ask you to do? In letter F, it tells you commentary. You want an explanation of the detail and quote and how they relate to the topic and thesis. So here, this student puts, he says this because he knows what he has done with Abigail when she used to be her servant. God knows his black sins. It is enough for him. So make sure that we're following grammatical structure, guys, because it makes it very difficult to read. God knows his black sins. It is enough for him because he knows where his life will end up. It seems a little vague because you're like, he knows where his life will end up. Well, where will it end up? So you need to tell me where is it that it's going to end up. You need to be specific about that. He knows what his life is over, perhaps. Maybe we could say that. He knows his life is over. But why? Because he committed adultery. However, he still defends his name. Now, yes, committed, you have a mistake, very easy. You just click, and that's how you complete introductory paragraph, body paragraph 1. The rest of the body paragraphs, you do the same thing. just need to manipulate so you can eventually write it on your own.